There we go. Alright guys, and welcome back. Right, for those that have been watching the channel, you know I've been rebuilding a DB7 Aston Martin, which was a salvage car, had a front end crash. Well, today's episode is the first road test. It's also the episode where I'm going to get the MOT and wheel alignment sorted. As you can probably see guys, it's currently 2 degrees and it's very cold January day. So I'm not going to go too hard on it. Way, we're off. Just want to drive the car, make sure it selects gear, make sure the brakes work, them kind of things, just to, you know, test it out. Here it goes guys. Beautiful. Right, now I will say we did have a slight problem. So this video nearly didn't happen. Now I moved the car out earlier and believe it or not, the throttle stuck open. So I was driving along down my grass in the garden, slight slope onto the driveway, pressed the throttle to maybe a quarter, a third, and it stuck open. It's never done that before. So as you can imagine, I was pretty surprised. And the car catapulted itself into my gate. Luckily I didn't hit them. I jammed the brakes on. That did nothing. It just locked the front wheels up. The back wheels actually started to spin. I managed to pull it into neutral and stop the car, but it was a very sketchy moment. Now I will say, yes, obviously that's a bad thing, but I'd rather do it here than on the road. I've since fixed the problem. The throttle cable like compensator, the bit what kind of splits the linkage, that was seized onto the shaft. Now it's never done it before, so it is a bit odd. It was slightly tight, so I've lubricated it. Now that's spot on, but it did bring up a little fault. So when I stripped the panel off to check it, I also noticed that a rodent had eaten through the vacuum line for the fuel pressure regulator. So if I'm honest, it's kind of done me a favour, because if I didn't know that, you know, I probably wouldn't have noticed that. So if that didn't happen, fuel pressure regulator wouldn't have been working properly. It would have been maximum fuel pressure, meaning the vehicle would be running rich and using even more fuel. So yeah, I'm glad I've sorted that. Right, let's go for this road test. I'm going to be honest, I'm a little bit nervous, but what could go wrong, eh? Nice and steady and away we go. Now straight away I will say I'm 6'5" and I don't fit in a DB7 very well. The roof is very low, so I've had to recline the seat right back just to fit in comfortably. But yeah, let's go guys. So the first thing I noticed guys is the throttle is very sensitive, and I mean very sensitive. Just press it a little bit and it just wants to go. And I've got, as you know, a 300 horsepower Vauxhall Nova, and I've got a 320 horsepower 911, but they don't feel like this. This is very, very torquey. So, just putting the rear demister on. Now straight away, obviously this had a front end impact, mainly on the offside. It did push the wheel back a little bit, so tracking is out slightly, but only slightly. It's pulling slightly to the left, so that's not bad at all. So we've got a clunk on the front end, offside front. Not sure what that is. Sounds like an anti-roll bar link, but I know that's been replaced, so not sure if something else is a little bit loose. Coolant's spot on now, temperature's spot on, oil pressure's spot on. The only thing that's not spot on is the petrol gauge, but that doesn't surprise me. Like I say though, I can't give it any beans really. The roads are not the best. It's quite frosty, it's very cold. It's really the wrong time of the year to be driving a car like this.
20 minutes later.
Way, we're off. Oh, that goes well, guys. Wow. Got some real good top end power. One more launch. There we go. Yes, boy. It doesn't feel as sporty as the Porsche. but you can't beat that V12 soundtrack. Even on standard form, it sounds nice. It's very smooth, very subtle, very elegant. It's good. Slight bit of throttle then, and it will spun. Yeah, interesting car. I've never driven a rear-wheel drive car with this kind of power. Obviously, the Porsche is pretty lively, but the engine's in the back, so you get a lot of grip. This is a big, heavy engine at the front, and then obviously rear-wheel drive, not a lot of weight on the back axle. So yeah, I've not really driven anything like this before. So it's quite interesting. So yeah, pretty happy if I'm honest. Just need to sort out a little knock on the front. Not really sure what it could be, but I need to look into it. Hopefully it's something fairly obvious. I didn't really see anything when I stripped it, so we'll see. I will just say as well, it's a very quiet car. Like, there's not a lot of road noise, there's not a lot of anything. It's very, very subtle and quiet, and I suppose how you'd expect an Aston Martin to be, but I've never driven one on the road, so this is my first experience. But yeah, very quiet at the minute. I will fix that. Needs to be a bit louder. We need to hear the V12 sing. Listen to that. Oh yes. Woohoo! I will say as well, the gearbox surprised me. It's surprisingly quick. Yeah, I was a bit worried about obviously being a 25-year-old car, 25-year-old gearbox. Will it be a bit laggy and a bit lumpy? And it's pretty good, to be fair. Obviously I'd prefer a manual, but these cars were very, very rare in manual form. They didn't sell many. They weren't really aimed at that kind of market. They were aimed at, you know, rich businessmen and women, obviously, who just wanted a nice sophisticated ride with some power. And that's exactly what they offer, with lots of comfort. Yeah, so very happy with my first drive. Let's get it for MOT and let's see if she passes or fails.
So we made it to the test station in one piece. The MOT test is halfway through and it's just checking the underside. Then all that's left after that is just brake test and emissions. Fingers crossed. Well guys, MOT has passed. I am absolutely thrilled. We also found a slight knock, and it was basically one of the nuts holding the subframe on was slightly loose, and it was that. So yeah, tied it up, boom, we're away. Now we can get the wheel alignment sorted. So, a little bit of drama, just tried to get back in the car, couldn't open the driver's door. The handle doesn't seem to be connected. So, never had a problem with that before. It's only done 40,000 miles. As far as I can tell, it's never been apart, so yeah, need to investigate that. Luckily, the passenger door was still open, so yeah, it opens from the inside, just not from the outside, so God knows, I'll have a look at that later. This is Stu from the Tyre Doctor in Newark. He's just setting up the wheel alignment, tracking gauges now. Let's just hope it's not too far out. You're going to be famous.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, there's a lot of red on that. Fingers crossed we can fix it. And as if by magic, look at that, perfect.
It's all green.
Hey.
Right, tracking's done and it's driving spot on. So big thank you to the Tyre Doctor in Newark. There's a link in the description to their website. If you've got anything, you know, anything where you need wheel alignment doing tyres, go to them if you can. They're really cheap, really nice guys, really helpful. So what we learned today, well, make sure if you replace your subframe mounts on your DB7, tighten the lock nut up. Obviously I nearly tightened it up but not quite, so that was what the nut was. And also don't drive a DB7 Vantage in winter because it is terrifying. The throttle's like an on-off switch and all it wants to do is slide everywhere. So yeah, this car's going to be hibernating now for a little bit until the warmer weather comes, and then we can have some fun in it. So anyway guys, stay tuned for more and I'll see you next week with possibly some Nova content. Bye bye.